Hi, I'm Shan, and today I'm going to talk to you about my track, which was a collaboration with Emma Clair that landed on Toolroom on the Leaders of the New School album in 2023. This track's called Jump and Twist, and at the time, Emma and I were really digging the sort of tribally, Latin-y vibes, and we wanted to make a big energy track. So we met at one of the Toolroom events, and we realised that we actually didn't live that far away from each other. She's in Manchester and I'm in Southport, so I drove over to Manchester. We jumped into a studio, had a couple of sessions, and came out with this, which we were super pleased with, and we were made up when Toolroom signed it. And then another massive bonus, a friend of mine, Paul Reynolds, I went over to see him in Ibiza when he was DJing, and he dropped it at a Schweier in front of a full crowd just before James Hype and Medusa went on. And it was just unreal, like, that moment of producing something to seeing it played out in front of thousands of people, it was mega, so massive thank you for that, Paul. So anyway, let's dive into the track. I'll show you what Emma and I got up to and give a bit of an explanation, behind the whole thing. So yeah, here we go. Here's the kick. So this comprises of 2 parts, both different functions, the lower kick and then the top clickier part of the kick. We've got quantum on it, which is just enhancing the attack. And then just some simplon, which is just basically filtering it in and out. Then we have the bass, which is actually made up of 3 samples and 1 tom. So if I play it together, so if I put it with the kick, so it's a very, very low, very wumpy sort of bass. The tom is sort of providing that bouncy sort of rhythm within the samples. I'll do a quick flick. As you can see, we've EQ'd these um, for their certain sort of like where they belong in the bass. So the low bass here has this Puig Tech just pushing it out even more, a boost. Um, and a decapitator adding some saturation. So yeah, all together again with the kick. Now we have this bongo, which is a huge part of the track actually. Let's listen to this. So that's just got some EQ taking off the lows and some saturation and reverb on it, but it's quite a big part of the groove actually. Let's listen to it with the kick and the bass. Kind of is the groove really of the track. We've got this other tom hit, which as you can see, we've not really processed. We've used an auto filter to take out some of the lows. Could have EQ'd it, but we've obviously gone for this at the time. Then we've got a couple of top loops here, adding a bit more of vibe, filling out some of the frequencies, just with a kickstart on, and a perk booster, just add in some redux and some vinyl distortion, which actually does make a big difference. So I'll play it with the perk booster and then without the perk booster so you can see. Pretty massive difference really. So yeah, made up we use that on there. We've got these snares. That's a really solid sample there, just with a bit of reverb on. We've got these timbales. So as you can see, both really good samples, minimal processing really, bit of kickstart and some EQ. And this sample as well, which is a lower, grittier sort of sample. Then we've got these claps, which just have some Valhalla reverb on, that's it. One's panned slightly right, one's panned slightly left. Moving on to the highs. Now, These are so important in the track. I'm gonna play you the track with the highs in, and then I'm gonna just remove the highs altogether, and you'll see what I mean for energy. They just bring so much energy to it, and yes, there is quite a lot of layers to these highs, but I love them actually. So I'm gonna play the track without the highs in. I'll go to the drop section. With the highs in. Just so cool. And actually a massive part of this is this vocoder. I'm going to turn the vocoder off. And then turn it back on. Adding so much into those highs. We just have some filtering on there, taking off the highs, taking off the lows, automating the gain, and a bit of click boom. Actually not sure why we've got click boom on, I can't remember. Just doing a little bit really. So the open hats. So like they're pretty descriptive as what they do. So panning energy, one is like more mono, one's left, one's right. So I'll play them separately. And all together. Then this is like a tamborini shaker here with some erosion on, pushing up in the highs, and some delay, some reverb, some auto pan, and a bit of kickstart. So quite a bit of processing on that. If I group all that and turn it off, it's okay, but it's quite straight. If I put it back on, feels a bit more real and a bit more groovy. We have these hats, which has duck on. Again, very different with and without duck on. The duck sort of like adds that groove to it. So then we've got some shakes. First one, just with a bit of duck on it, again, bit of side chain. A straighter down the middle sort of shake. A hat slightly to the left. A hat slightly to the right. This one, because we thought it added extra energy, can you tell? That just has some delay and reverb on it. I'll play it without the delay, reverb, and kickstart. Now with. It just like gives that dun 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 sort of vibe to it. Shaker. I'll take the processing off the shaker. It's like, it sounds like a totally different sample, doesn't it? Perk loop. Just adding a bit of like lower end grittiness to the drums, really. Then we have this timbale. And I know you're probably looking at that screen saying, "Are you mad? Nobody EQs a sound like that." But it just works. Like if I take that EQ and this off, it's pretty flat. If I had it back on. So yeah, as you can see, quite a lot of processing on that sound. But you know, it needs more sometimes. This bouncy perk. So you can see that's got some mad automation on the note length. It really, really helps in this track with the breakdown. It gives so much of like, I don't know, it's like you're waiting for the track to come back in because this sort of noise is sort of like going a bit crazy. So if I play it like in the breakdown and we can try and hear it. Yeah, it's almost like an effect sound in itself. So if I go to these, this should be pretty self-explanatory as to what these are. Horns, whistles, and drums. So this was like a horn sound. Now, we really wanted to push this out more in the mix. I remember dealing with this sound at the time, and we were just like, needs to be more, needs to be more. So we've got Transit Master here pushing the attack, Transient Shaper here, giving it some pump. We've got Valhalla Room for some reverb. We've got an auto filter just doing its automation. This perk booster with some redux, vinyl distortion, and overdrive on it. An EQ pushing it even more, some click boom to push the attack even more again, and then a clipper to stop it being too wild. And then we've got this whistle sound. I love a whistle sound. I'm such a sucker for a whistle sound. But it's just got some EQ, some delay on it, and a limiter, and um some reverb, and a bit of wider, pushing it out wider. It's a great plugin that actually. And then these drum hits, such a good sound. Again, EQ, limiter to push it, and then a bit of delay, so it's not so dry. This bongo big, which I probably typed that the wrong way around. It should say big bongo, but anyway. Um, Another great solid sound. Just some automated delay and a bit of an EQ push on that one. This drum fill, that's such a good sound as well. Just a limiter to push it a bit louder. The effects are pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple of cool ones I want to show you actually. These are really cool. And this. I love that sound. It sounds like you're in a jungle. Just seemed really fitting for the track. The others are pretty self-explanatory. I'll whiz through them quickly. A long white noise as it drops. A reverse in. Sort of like an metallic-y white noise out. A shaky sort of white noise coming in and out of the breaks. Impact boom. Delayed crash. Another crash with some delay. The snare build. So yeah, that's pretty big part of the build, like the breakdown actually. Let's play it. It's actually pretty decent. They're pretty decent, them effects, aren't they? This long riser, this noisy riser is pretty good. Other risers. So yeah, they just all have slightly different sounds, and when they're added together, they just kind of give a bigger build up. I don't use effect like loads of effects in all my tracks. It's just this track when we were making it, we were adding things to it and they just were working, so we kept them. So yeah, why not really? And then we move into the vocals, and I love the vocals in this track. So not gonna lie, the vocals took us ages to find. I remember we had the track and I was like, mate, it's just we're missing that one bit of magic in this track, and it's like a fire vocal. What are we gonna do? So we're going through, we both sat there on laptops going through sample after sample after sample. And then I found this one vocal, and out of the whole vocal, I was like, I found this one little sentence, jump and twist. And I was like, oh, this could work. And then Emma was like, "I tell you what, I'll put it in a sampler." So we were sat there in the studio and she starts playing Jumpan, Japan Pan, Jumpan, Japan Pan, Jumpan, Japan Pan, Jumpan Twist. And I was like, "That is so good." I honestly remember the moment so vividly. Um, so yeah, we finally got there. So, um, we had this jump and twist. So we've just processed it here. We've got some EQ, got some CLA, a limiter, some filtering, etc. Sorry, Emma jumped in with the sampler on the keys and started playing this rhythm in. And then obviously we'd put in jump and twist at the end. It just worked. It just worked really, really well. Yeah, we just got some EQ on that. The vocal that she played in on the keys, again, just some CLA, stuff like that, limiter. And then we have this backing vox, which is actually, I really, really like the sound. It's kind of like a ba 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 ba, and it actually really adds to the groove. And then this awesome little vox here. And that really adds to the flavour of the track as well. I love little vocals like that. So yeah, all together, we'll do a little track preview of the breakdown into the drop.
Here comes another one. Right about now. We're going to dance on the dance. Fall slitter. Hit me with the music. Original style.
So yeah, that's just a quick look into how we made the track. I hope that it's been of some help. Maybe a bit of a look into the thought process of why we use the sounds we use, how we created the groove that we did. Again, that lifelong struggle with finding the right vocal, but perseverance and getting there in the end, finding one that really fitted perfectly to the track. So yeah, big ups to Emma for being a great collab partner, and big ups to Toolroom for the release on this. And yeah, catch you in the next video.